Welcome to Hops News, the trusted source in beer culture news. Here's your host, Jay Brew, with special guests, the Hoppy Mommy, Lucky, and Nash.
Hey, welcome to another episode. Man, it's good to be back in front of you guys tonight. Last Thursday was pretty exciting for us here at Hops News. We had a pretty interesting episode, but glad to be back. We did some work down in Charlotte for a pretty sizable alcohol beverage company down there with Total Wine, and did some work with A&B launching their new low and hazy beer that we sampled down here a couple of nights ago, or a couple of episodes ago. So had a good time down there. It was good to hang out with the brewers again and the team from A&B. It's always fun to get together with those guys. But we got a great episode lined up for you tonight. Like us, share us, follow, tag your partner, subscribe. I know I'm missing something else, but do whatever you can. Retweet.
Just smash the subscribe, share it. Whatever you can do, just do it. Do it.
Retweet. That's the word. Retweet is the word.
Yes.
Definitely take care of us and get us out there. Help us reach the markets that we're trying to reach. We're on Twitter, so go ahead and head over there. Retweet. We're also on YouTube, so subscribe to us there. Also on Facebook, share us, tag us, put us in your favorite beer groups, do whatever it is that you can to help us spread the word. Be another good episode. We've got Raleigh Brewing joining us here in just a minute, or they should be. Anyways, joining us in just a minute. I see they've tried to call. I'm going to have to give them a call back here when I throw it down to one of the other guys. Speaking of that, let's go check in with Hoppy, and I'll see if I can get Raleigh Brewing on the phone. I think they're on the phone. If you can hear us, Raleigh Brewing, we've got you on the board, so you don't have to worry about being quiet. But nobody can hear you, but you can hear us. We'll be right back to you in just a second. Hoppy, how's things going in Florida?
Oh, yes, things down in Florida are Florida. But since we're doing football theme night, and the Hurricanes are actually playing right now, I got my Miami shirt on. And so since they're the OG college football team of the 80s, I'm taking it back to an OG Florida IPA.
Nice.
With my All About the U koozie. So that's about it in Florida. So first night of college football, well, at least college football that matters.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of the Miami stuff, but I'll appreciate the beer.
Oh, yeah. We got some amazing beer down in Miami. Well, and there's actually, Jay Wakefield does beers that are specific to the Hurricanes. Like they have the turnover chain one and everything, but they don't ship up here. And what's funny, not college related, but Funky Buddha has a beer called Undefeated Saison that's for the Miami Dolphins, because that's the only thing the Miami Dolphins have going for them, is that they're still the only undefeated team since the 70s.
Yeah, that's rough because they haven't been known for much since then. So, but at least they have that right?
Well, we had Ace Ventura in the 90s, so that was good.
Yeah, you did have that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely did have that. Yeah, Hoppy, it's good to hear from you. I'm glad college football is back. You guys did a bang-up job last week with the episode. I know there was some technical difficulties and everybody's dealing with different issues, but I will tell you, you guys kind of knocked it out of the water. I was impressed. A little bit nervous walking away. It's kind of turning over the keys to the mothership, but MASH, speaking of MASH out there in Mountain Home, Idaho, man, I can't tell you how proud I was of you to be able to knock that out of the water and take it over for the night. It definitely allows me to be like, maybe I can do something on a Thursday night again.
Yeah, it's I was wicked nervous at first, I'll be honest. It was like Dad was giving me the keys to the Camaro that he's been so fond of for so long, and I just got my driver's license again, but I thought it was a great episode. Appreciate you giving me the reins for a little while and letting you go knock out some other things that we've been doing, pretty big things that we have going on. Drinking a KCBC beer tonight. If you can see that, little robot fish action. It's really good. It's a IPA Mosaic Smash and tastes really, really smooth. It's what I needed after a long day. It's been a long week, I'll be honest, but I'm excited for Raleigh Brewing Company. It's a brewery that my wife and I tend to go to every time we go back and visit our in-laws, her parents. And they just opened up a new tap room right around the corner from her house. So even more reason to go back and visit the in-laws now is just to go hit up our guest tonight right up the road. So I'm stoked to be here.
Nice. Yeah, man, it was I was good. I was glad to see you guys knocking it out of the water. Sounds like you got a great beer. Definitely appreciate your dedication there, Mash. You did an excellent job. Trust me, I can appreciate technical difficulties because no matter how well you plan, something's always going to come up, as it did when we got started tonight. A little bit late getting to the Facebook feed, but we're definitely there now. Let's give us some shout outs to the people and the viewers. We obviously have Hoppy, Corey, Mash, Corey, and Hoppy, Mommy, and Brad back in there. So appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Definitely be a good episode. Several of you have already hit up the donation button. We've got Bravo Alpha Initiative featured in our donation button tonight, so don't hesitate to knock one of those out. Drop some change in the bucket. We've got some Hops news jackets, Bombers jackets that we'll be sending out. I got a ton of them saved up over there in the corner with a bunch of addresses that need to go on them. Uh-oh. That's an interesting sound. That was me, but I think Raleigh Brewing is back. I don't know why that happened. I usually disconnect my phone from there, but I guess it didn't.
Boy.
Raleigh Brewing, we'll get with you in just a second. You should be able to hear us on your end. But yeah, got a bomber jacket lined up. Got the donation button live tonight. Should be a good one. That is a sexy bomber jacket there, Hoppy. Let's check in with Raleigh Brewing. I think we still have them. Let's check in and see if Raleigh Brewing is on the line. Are you guys on the line still?
We are.
Awesome.
Yes, you have Christy Neistat and Scott Craddock.
Awesome. Awesome. Glad to have you guys on. Thank you for joining us. It's we've been waiting to talk to you folks for a few minutes now, and we've actually had you lined up for a few weeks. Mash has been pushing this one out there pretty hard, so good to have you guys on.
Yeah. Well, awesome. We're happy to be here and excited we're able to connect. Yeah. It's an exciting time.
And we always have some technical difficulties in the beginning, so apologize if we dropped the call or whatever happened there with you guys, but we will get it under control. That's the challenge with a live production.
That's right.
So, Christy, you're
Scott, you're there, right? Scott.
Doesn't sound like Scott's there.
Oh, no. Scott, you're the man who makes the juice.
But we don't need Scott.
Well, it is interesting because Yeah, I mean, it's like he's the one who's actually connected the conference call, so it would be interesting if he's not on. But that's he like called me. No worries, no.
Yeah, that's always that's always a challenge when we try to get conference calls going on here. But we'll definitely make it through. Christy, we like to start some things out pretty simple, and then we'll get into the hot and heavy questions and really put you under the heat lamp. Tell us what got you started in beer. What was your first beer that you had to drink, and how old were you? What was it? And was it from like Grandpa's fridge, or how did you get started in the beer?
No. It was definitely New Belgium Fat Tire. That was my first kind of taste on craft beer for sure. And I was on a business trip, and in the middle of where they were, the Mecca Center of craft beer right there, and in the brew pub of New Belgium, and I was at that time actually in electronic health records. I worked for Allscripts at that time. But it was kind of interesting because we were having, I was with the director of sales, and there was a couple of other operational people from Allscripts there, and we were having a conversation about, because we were there visiting the client who was newly embarking electronic health records, and we actually were talking about how the similarities between the craft beer boom and what was happening with electronic health records at that time, and how, dynamic both of the kind of entities were. And so both very entrepreneurial, with the doctors obviously having electronic health records, and then craft beer obviously just crafting all of these amazing ales in different regions, kind of taking a little micro brewing aspect to it. So it was just, it was kind of funny. We talked a lot about it at that point, but that certainly was where a lot of the interest and the energy of as far as where, maybe it's something that we could do. And we started brewing at home. And then, probably about 7 years later, boom, Raleigh Brewing was made.
Nice.
So that was in 2000. That was in 2013. March of 2013 is when Raleigh Brewing was opened.
Very nice.
Awesome.
So I'm assuming that Fat Tire was not your first beer.
Oh, no.
Okay.
No,
so what was your
first probably, craft
She
ale.
was going to have a stroke.
Yeah, for sure. So I was going to say, if you went right straight to Fat Tire as your first beer, that had to be an interesting journey. So what was your first beer, and how old were you when you remember drinking it? You can be honest with us. Everybody else has been.
I really just remember drinking a whole bunch of Busch when I was in college, to be honest. Just, the price point and, the $2 for a keg party type thing. But that is probably, I have a lot of really bad memories of drinking, just some really crappy Busch beer.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, everybody's got to start somewhere. So, I mean, it's not uncommon, right? Most of us have started with, Coors, PBR, Millers, or Budweiser, Bud Light, or something like that. So definitely not uncommon. Yeah. That's usually everybody's start. And then I would say that I'm not a fan of Fat Tire. I've never hid that fact, but Fat Tire is definitely one of those beers that everybody, I mean, it's pretty approachable, right? I mean, that is on tap usually in every Applebee's, every Chili's, every Main Street chain restaurant. Fat Tire there's a good chance that it's on tap there. So definitely, it's been a very successful and very approachable beer. So that is, I'm not the least bit surprised to hear about that as being your first craft beer. Yeah. That's pretty easy, approachable beer.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So at Raleigh Brewing, what did most people start out brewing beer in a garage or their kitchen, or, doing some very small batch stuff. What was your start, and were you the business leader? Were you the one that had the idea to do it? Did you have some business partners that started with you pretty early in the process?
Well, thankfully, when we created the business, it was just my husband and myself. And, throughout the 8 years, we've had our challenges always agreeing. So I'm glad that we didn't have anybody else involved in the process along the way.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, Yeah. So it was, yes. I mean, basically we just started out with brewing from home. We're both corporate America. I mean, I was working for Allscripts. Patrick is still actually a pilot for American Airlines. And, we were actually approached. Yeah. We were approached by, Linwood Grill in Raleigh. They actually now have a brew pub, but it was way before they had a brew pub. We knew the owner, Ted Dwyer. He actually had many, he'd come over and had many of our beers that we were making at home. And he actually initially approached us to be the brewery and kind of actually own what would be called Raleigh Brewing, but in the back of Linwood. That was kind of actually the original concept, where we would both still be working. It would just be a brewery, and it would just be like 1,000 square foot right behind Linwood. And so, that was the original concept. But when Patrick and I started getting the numbers together and figuring, what we wanted to be doing with our spare time and how much money and just how much energy it was going to be just to take on that small project, we bowed out, pretty early and decided to regroup and think about what we could do on a bigger scale. Because, at Linwood, definitely Ted was going to be able to be able to have a lot of control and potentially even put our business at risk. So we told Ted, we're like, you really need to own your own brewery because at the end of the day, it's going to benefit you the most. And you need to find, a brewery that's just going to be a Linwood brewer. And, Patrick and I decided really at that point that if we were going to do a brewery, we were going to want to do something bigger. We'd actually at that point had already looked into, what it would take to, we were making connections with some of the stainless steel manufacturers and, had even at that point thought there was an opportunity to create another company, which is now known as ABS Commercial, where we are manufacturers and distributors of large commercial brewing equipment across the United States. So that idea kind of was being created at the same time as Raleigh Brewing. And, that was going to take more space, more manpower, and more capital. So we took a step back because that was like in 2010, and then started really resourced all our energy and all of our capital, pulled it together over the last the next couple of years. And then in 2012, I quit my job, and we found a warehouse, and it is where we're located right now in 3709 Neal Street. And we actually started 3 companies at that time. We started Raleigh Brewing, which is a 20-barrel production brew house with a tap room. We created ABS Commercial, which is a commercial brewing equipment manufacturing company. And we created Atlantic Brew Supply, which is a home brew outlet, but it also is a large e-commerce store as well. So that's Atlantic Brew Supply.
You guys just went for the whole thing right away. And you're like, we're going to brew beer, we're going to make the equipment, and we're just going to make sure people can actually brew at home too. That's awesome.
Yeah. We put all of the aspects of brewing together under one roof.
That's what you call vertical, right?
Yeah.
That's going vertical.
That's right.
That's taking it to the nth degree when you're making your own equipment.
Yeah. Yeah. And they really do. The businesses do feed off of one another. A lot of home brewers turn into commercial brewers. A lot of potential people who are going to be owning their own commercial brewery, the tap room that we have, when they come in there and they see that, and we have a lot of visitors from all over, primarily on the Eastern Seaboard, but if they're considering buying an ABS Commercial, I'm sorry, that's my dog. If they're considering buying an ABS Commercial brew house, they will come and check out our setup and our tap room, and it just gives them hope as far as, look at what, we can create this live, vibrant tap room and make all these different beers, and it just it puts their dream into reality when they can see it actually happening. So it has, it's been successful. Things are definitely going well. All the businesses had to pivot during this time, with COVID, of course, with the shutdowns and so forth. But but we're, ABS Commercial went into full, basically online mode. All the salespeople were working from home. We were still receiving plenty of stainless steel in on a daily basis, so there was still quite a big pipeline. Nobody knew that this pandemic was going to happen, so we had to figure out how we were going to get these breweries ready and prepped. So when those breweries that actually ordered that that equipment were open again, we could get it shipped, installed, and get them trained up. So it's been very interesting over the last couple months specifically.
I bet it has. We've got a viewer, Matt, says one-stop shop. That is definitely a one-stop shop, Matt. You can definitely take care of your brew equipment, your brewing supply needs, and your beer right there. Brad, one of our Patreons, our Hops News family members, is actually building out a brewery right now. And he said, I'm in the market for equipment. I'll have to check out ABF. Definitely check them out. Obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also say, to any breweries that are out there listening, that there is we actually right now are giving away keg washer. That's one thing that we did pivot to during this during the pandemic. We had all our marketing dollars kind of switched virtually, and we found ourselves with more money in the budget to provide for some opportunity. And this was, we actually gave one keg washer away already. We gave that within the first 4 months of the pandemic. There was about 4,000 breweries that actually put their names in the hat. And a brewery out of Pennsylvania actually won that keg washer. Nice. And we have another one that's going on right now. So I would say, if you are interested, if you're a brewery, you should definitely put your name in the hat for that keg washer, and absolutely look. If you are interested in the brewery equipment, you should check us out online as well.
Awesome. So we've got Bravo Alpha Initiative in the donate button. Hit up that donate button, be entered to win a bomber jacket. Let's go check in with Hoppy. Hoppy, are you drinking the same thing? Are you still working on that one? Is there anything new going down there in Orlando? Still?
Yeah. I'm nursing it today because I think my 3-year-old broke my toe the other day, so I took an ibuprofen earlier. So.
Oh, nice.
So I will probably
I
will probably only be drinking the Highlight tonight, and that's probably it.
Nice.
But so have you seen an increase in homebrew? Like I tried homebrewing during the quarantine. So have you seen an increase in everybody coming out trying that?
We really have. That was actually probably the most interesting part. So that was when we had the stay-at-home order, just the people who were handling e-commerce and also the people who typically work retail for Atlantic Brew Supply. So the customer face-to-face, they actually stayed they were required to stay in the brewery as well and help out with the e-commerce team. So that 2-man team that normally handles e-commerce switched to like a 5-person team, and where we normally have maybe 30% of our orders online, it went to 70% of our orders were online.
Wow.
So and it shifted, and it happened right away. I mean, it was initially, of course, with the stay at home, it was 100% of the orders were online, but the amount of orders was more for sure. Yeah. And we saw initially as the Northeast was shut down, that's where a bunch of the orders were coming in from, and then the Midwest, and then we saw them pretty much all come in, through the Mid-Atlantic and then the Southwest as well. So it was an interesting growth for sure, an increase in orders. But thankfully, we were able to keep most of the customers happy, and did a lot of operational efficiencies to make sure that we could handle the growth there. But and that's not really stopped. We're still seeing the same amount of people who are continuing to homebrew. So
that's neat. Awesome. And you guys are you ship all over the country?
We do. Yeah, we do. We don't have a large customer base on the West Coast. Primarily it is up and along the eastern seaboard, so around the north and south, and of course south the Atlantic. But so it's been an interesting. I even actually homebrewed. I brewed on National Homebrew Day. So nice. when we opened the brewery, we actually gave a bunch of our homebrew stuff to one of our neighbors because we were busy and we didn't want to see the equipment go to waste or just sit there. So, but on National Homebrew Day, I actually homebrewed for the first time in over 7 years. So it was fun. Had a really good time.
Yeah,
I brewed that day as well, but I can guarantee yours was way better as mine had to go down the drain. It was so bad.
Oh, no.
You need to get in touch with...
I brewed a peach saison. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you need to get in touch with Christy then, the Atlantic Supply Company that they have set up with Probably. They'll set you up with some good stuff and some recipes and procedures and everything.
Yeah, I just got stuck to the Belgium saison. I had heard that because I tried to go into a New England IPA, and it was, oh my God, it was so bad, so bad. So I am going to try again.
Let's go check in with Mash out there in
That's a
Mountain
lot
Home,
of
Idaho.
hops.
Yeah.
Mash, are you there, Mash? Did you get?
I am. I'm here.
Well, your video's froze.
I'm here. If you can hear me.
There we go.
We can hear you.
We can hear you now.
Who knows what's going on? Yeah, I'm finishing up what I am drinking here, the KCBC, and actually fun little, not really Easter egg. We'll call me an Easter egg because I'm a comic nerd. But if you've ever visited our Hops News website, the picture that I have of myself on there is actually me drinking a beer at Raleigh Brewing Company.
Nice.
So, how interesting is
that? I like
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like I was saying, my wife is actually from Raleigh, and we go back and visit often. And the place you guys just opened up in Cary is literally within walking distance from her in-laws' house, which you have no idea how much it's going to be amazing when we go back there and visit. And so I'm just connected with you guys all sorts tonight because the Bravo Alpha initiative is for veterans. And the reason why I'm in Idaho is because I'm also in the military. So you guys are doing great things, and I really appreciate everything that you're doing for both Raleigh and veterans as well.
Yeah, absolutely. We're excited about this initiative. Yeah, with Bravo Alpha, the Run for Their Life initiative. So this helps all the vets and first responders. And tomorrow there will be a gal that is running 9 hours and 11 minutes, and all of the profits are going to their initiative tomorrow as well. So something that we're very passionate about, and stops and helps people that either whatever kind of support, but definitely outreach for suicide and preventing suicides as well. So.
Awesome. We've got Christy, owner of Raleigh Brewing, on the phone. We're featuring Bravo Alpha Initiative, a great initiative to benefit veterans. Hit them up, drop in some change in that donation bucket to be entered for the Hops News Bomber Jacket. I actually just killed this Haw River Brewing Cultural Divide Homestead Pickle Saison. I will tell you,
pickles.
I will tell you, it's not a Netflix and dill, but I'm kind of I
do like the name.
The Netflix and dill by New Serum is, man, I will tell you what, if you're a pickle fan, that is the perfect post-run beer that I've ever had. That beer is truly like a pickle juice in a can. Christy, do you guys brew a pickle beer at all?
We do not, but interesting you say that. We did. I cycle, so the cycle group that I was with a couple weekends ago, we went to Deep River, and I had their pickle lager, and it was same. I mean, super crisp. It was the perfect accent to a sweaty ride, and I really liked it. So we haven't yet, but I certainly did put that in the back of my mind there, thinking we might want to. Do a little research on something like that. And
so that is
small batch,
Yeah, that is the first thing that come to my mind. I do some cycling and some running myself, and when I first had the beer, it was literally, it's like opening up a jar of dill pickles and just taking a big swallow of it. It was, and I love pickles. I could do that right now out of the refrigerator. So, but yeah, that is the first thing that came to my mind was, man, this is a perfect post-run beer. That being said, I'm going to keep an eye on you guys, and if you produce one, I am definitely going to have to get on some of that because pickle beer is it's pretty interesting. When I first heard about it, I'm like, man, there's no way nobody can make that very good, but they did a very good job of it. Yeah. I've had a couple of them since then that's definitely very good and very approachable.
I have never had one.
I'm going to try those other ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Netflix and Dill by New Serum. They make a pretty good beer. It's pretty hot up this way. It's hard to get, but definitely have had plenty of Raleigh Brewing beers. My brother lives out that way, so definitely putting out a good product there. For people that's never been to the tap room, what is New Raleigh Brewing known for? What kind of beer can they expect when they walk into your tap room or see it on the shelves?
Well, so the beer that it has basically definitely has been branded across the region pretty heavy is a beer called Hell Yes Ma'am, and that's a Belgian Golden. So it's a 9.2% Belgian Gold and super smooth, super approachable, but it is 9.2%. So you got to be careful with it.
That's a Sunday morning for Hoppy, just so you know.
I have that in my fridge. A friend from North Carolina just sent me a package. I didn't even realize what brewery it was, or I would 100% be drinking that right now, ibuprofen or not.
Yeah.
But yeah, let me see if I can get one of my.
Yes, Hoppy, definitely. I'm interested in your feedback when you get a chance to open that one up. But it's a nice, smooth, Belgian Gold, and but it is high ABV and yeah. So I mean, that's we have a pretty well-rounded base of different beers. So we are not going to be the brewery that's known for having the hoppiest beers or the one that has all the English beers or anything like that. We have a pretty well-rounded portfolio in the beer selection. But I would say, we do have a New England IPA called Not Another that people are really attracted to. It's got a really nice, strong, good hoppy mix and nice and hazy. So people do love that one. And First Squeeze, which is an American wheat ale with blood orange. That's another beer that people love, around. It used to be just a summer beer. Now we make it year round. And we have a couple other IPAs that are, we have an Imperial IPA called the Walter. That's coming in at about 9.8%. And what else? We have a lot of beers. We have a Pack Light, which is an American light lager. That is the one. That's actually a beer that we made with collaboration of Raleigh Durham Airport. So we're actually in both terminals. We're in Terminal 2 right now, and Terminal 1 is in the middle of construction. So that was planned for July of this year, so 2020. And with COVID, now it's delayed until 2022. So it's going to be in the Southwest Terminal, and that will be a Raleigh Brewing taproom in there as well.
Nice.
So, that's the Pack Light Lager, and that's one that a lot of people who prefer a really light beer, they like that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's one thing I did remember when I did go to Raleigh Brewing is that you guys kind of remain true to style, right? You brew a little bit of everything. You have the dark beer and a very light beer. But you stay pretty true to style, and your styles, you guys really nail the styles. If you're a new to craft beer and you want to go sit down in a brewery and you want to experience what a lager is, or you want to experience whatever that a porter is, a stout is, that is one of those places you can go, and you're going to find a beer on their menu that's pretty true to style. And that's, I will tell you that the longer this craft beer craze goes on, the more I appreciate that, because all the other new and up and coming breweries are so far away from what the original styles were. They're so far one way or the other that it's crazy. So I definitely appreciate you guys and focusing on those styles of beer and making sure that you guys are nailing that, because that is something that I definitely appreciate. And I will tell you, I did some time in the beer industry. That RDU account is an amazing account to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're excited about that. There was a lot of momentum, of course, going, pre-COVID, like that January, February time period. Actually, the Terminal 2 tap room opened in January. So we really only had 2 good months before, the world turned upside down, but it's turning around again. So we're excited. Yeah, so it's going to be a good one. We're excited. We're in it for the long haul, so we're on the upside.
Yeah, and just to give the viewers a little bit of perspective, the RDU, that market is the 10th largest beer market in the nation, or it was just a couple of years ago, and the RDU airport is the largest account in that market. So the volume of beer that flows through there is pretty substantial. If you can get a tap in that account, you're going to sell some beer. Even if you're not one of the top ones, you're going to sell a lot of beer, because that's that airport for some reason goes through a ton of beer. But that's pretty awesome for you, especially put a beer like that in there.
Yeah, exactly. We bought separate lagering tanks specifically for that account. So, and the beer is actually already being brewed. When the airport kind shut down a little bit, but it is, we're selling it to the grocery stores as well. So it's doing well. We're keeping it fresh and,
Awesome.
keeping the consumer happy. Yeah.
That's good. So the one question that we always like to ask the people that we have on, the brewers, the owners, whoever it may be, is if we come and sit in your tap room right now, if the three of us bellied up to your bar, which I have as my backdrop, you can see the Raleigh Brewing. I will tell you, your flight boards are pretty cool. Do you still have the North Carolina cutout flight boards?
We do, yeah.
Awesome. So I've got that as my background here. If the three of us were to belly up to that tap room, that bar tonight, what is it that you're going to pour us?
Well, we would definitely get you the Toll. The Imperial Oatmeal Stout is our one beer so far that has won a Great American Beer Fest bronze. So it won a Great American Beer Fest bronze a couple of years ago. It's very strong. It's a very nice roasted, just very rich. We would definitely pour you that. That's an Imperial Oatmeal Stout. It's called the Toll. It used to be called the Miller's Toll, but Miller's Coors didn't really like their name being, which it wasn't. We didn't like their name being in it either. So we're like, that's fine. We'll just take it out. So that it was actually after the Miller, not the actual grain Miller, not them, but whatever. All the brewers know that. But anyways, that's fine. So now it's called the Toll, and it's better. And so I would do that. I would definitely pour you some of the Not Another, the New England IPA.
Nice.
And probably I probably would do the Moravian Rhapsody, which is our Czech Pilsner lager. I think it's a really nice style of Czech Pilsner, and it always gets high marks whenever we put it in a contest. So I would definitely give you that. And then probably just because everybody has to have it if they haven't had it, I would definitely give you about some the Hell Yes Ma'am, the Belgian Golden. So you can
I made
see
one
what
of
all
my
the
kids
hype
bring
about.
me the can, so I'm showing everybody the can who's on Facebook.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool can too.
It is pretty cool.
A lot of other cans are pretty good. I like them.
Yep. All right, Christy, we definitely appreciate your time this evening. We're not going to keep you here any longer, but there is a question from one of the viewers, or a comment. Matt says, keep hearing many breweries are struggling and near closure. What I'm seeing is an increase in consumption and loyalty. What's your inside take on that?
I'm sorry. Can you say that again? Can you repeat that again real quick?
Yeah, no worries. One of the viewers says, keep hearing many breweries are struggling and nearing closure. What I'm seeing is an increase in consumption and loyalty. What is it that you guys are seeing?
Yeah, so what we saw right away was packaged beer increasing 3 times. So really pretty much right away, as soon as people were staying home and having to go to the grocery store. And thankfully, we were in all the grocery stores. So, and our distributor only works with craft beer. So they don't have any of the big names in their beer. So they're very motivated. It's Freebird distribution, and they were very motivated to make sure that they're getting all of our beer out on those shelves and making sure they're stocked. So that was key as far as just making sure that, you're in package. And that was really what saved us. It was what we didn't have. Of course, we already had a typical mix of where 70% of our sales are in kegs and 30% of them was in package. So we had to, we had to get a lot more of our beers canned pretty quickly. But once we did that, it took us about a month, really, probably about 2 to 3 weeks to get the right mix. But after that, and we have not seen really too much of a drop on that package. So we're still 70% package, which was about a 45% increase overnight.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
The difficulty in that is, though, right, is trying to keep up with it. Obviously, if you have the production capability and you have the beer in the tanks, the fermenters and the bright tanks, and something like that happens, it's pretty good, especially if you're already packaging beer. But those breweries that don't package beer like that are, strictly the keg distribution that's going to be shut down right away. That's a challenge. So what I would tell you, Matt, is that there's two sides to this coin. If you're a brewery that did a very large package volume to begin with, you're probably pretty good, and you're probably pretty happy right now. If you're a brewery that depended in large on kegs and the tap flow, you're probably really stressed right now, because those are the type of accounts that we're no longer selling. But the package beer is, that's like Christy said. That increased 2 or 3 folds, sometimes higher with some breweries. So definitely glad to hear that you guys were in that market and had that shelf space already at hand, because that is a big part that's helping breweries make it through not being able to. And even here in North Carolina still, it's still kind of a challenge. If you're a bar, Christy, if you're a bar and that's all you are, I don't know how you're making it in North Carolina.
Me neither. And I have just so much empathy for those folks. And I'm just hopeful that, we're going to be on the backside of this for them as well very soon.
Yeah.
Just because, agreed, that's a lot of rent. And landlords or some of them are being amicable, but, I think the time of them being empathetic to your cause is nearing an end. So, the quicker that everybody can start getting back to what they like to do, which is, getting customers in their place, the better. So, so it's not been, it's definitely been challenging, but I think at the end of the day, we're all kind of getting used to what's happening right now. And all of us are really just thinking, let's get through these next couple months and see what happens after that. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely been a challenge here in North Carolina. I'm just a little bit west of you. I'm over here in Blowing Rock Boone area, so I definitely can appreciate what you guys have been through there in Raleigh and all of those bars and that sort of thing. But like I tell everybody, I don't care if you own the building, you still got bills to pay. Everybody's got somebody knocking on the door at this point, with their hand out asking for money. So it's a very tough situation. But to hear that you guys are kind of weathering the storm I'm glad to hear that for you guys.
Yeah, thank you. It's been a ride for sure. I don't want to go through this again for a while.
Yeah.
Oh God, again. No.
Well, football season starting up should help package sales again, right? You should get a little bump now that football season is going to play. So, and being in the grocery stores and being at the airport, you guys are positioned pretty good to kind of weather this storm. Christy, we definitely appreciate your time. Yeah. Thank you for everything you do for the Bravo Alpha Initiative and everything you guys do for the Raleigh beer scene there and keeping the good liquid flowing.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes,
and I hope.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for having us on. Scott actually can hear us. He just hasn't been able to, for whatever reason, we can't hear him. He's like,
Scott, I owe you a beer next time I'm in Raleigh, just for this reason. So when I come to Raleigh, I will let you know, and I will buy a beer just for you.
Well, that just gives an excuse to have Scott on by himself sometime. We can definitely.
That's also true.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Double dip.
That's correct. He's great. He's definitely got all the details on everything that happens in our brewery. A lot of times more than me. I'm like, oh, what's in this barrel?
Yeah, of course.
Secret barrel.
Yeah.
It's a secret barrel. It's a pickle beer.
Yeah.
Yes. Let's get the pickle beer
as we speak.
Yeah.
All right, Christy. Appreciate your time. Cheers.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good evening.
Thank you.
And
Cheers,
thank you
guys.
for calling in.
You too.
Awesome. Man, it's good to talk to some local folks. I'm going to take it upon myself.
Some North Carolina and some Florida breweries at Bonnie.
We're going to get Florida on here next month. Ivanhoe Brewing. I'm excited about that.
Hoppy, you got a lot of breweries down there. You've got a lot of work to do. You got some amazing beers in your backyard, and all we're hearing from is those Western breweries right now. But I'm going to take it upon myself, though. I am going to take it upon myself and get some of these North Carolina and Tennessee and Virginia breweries on as well. I think
Hell yes.
I think it's good to have a little mix. But I will tell you, man, guys, we're already into September, and we started this in April, and this thing is continuing to keep on and keep on, and we barely have gotten out of the Idaho and Maine connection that MASH has brought us to. So I'm pretty excited about where we're headed and the opportunity we have ahead of us.
Yeah, I hit up a lot of the Florida, North Carolina, and even to a lesser degree some of the Midwestern, Wisconsin, and I just haven't heard back. I don't want to be that crazy ex-girlfriend, but we got Ivanhoe on. They're on next month, mid-October. They'll be on. Probably, I think it's October 10th. They're actually on. So we got some Florida represent, and I'm going to Florida myself next month, and Hoppy and I might end up meeting up. So if we do, and we get to a brewery, there's potential for some little live on location going on there for some Panhandle Florida beers.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm really hoping to get some beers featured from not just Idaho, West Coast, because there really is just so much great beer throughout the entire country, and now more than ever, it's great to get their story out there.
Yeah.
So Hoppy, you'll appreciate this. Miami scored their first touchdown in over 6 quarters. So I just thought I'd let you know.
I was wondering how the game was going. I haven't even checked since you've been on.
It's not going very good. They scored right away, and UAB answered with another 7. So they're knotted up. UAB in Miami. Check this out. UAB and Miami knotted up 7s. Man, I hope UAB just...
Overrated.
Say it again. Say it again.
Overrated.
Yeah.
Miami hasn't been good since
2001.
what's his name? 2001, 2002 season. Yeah.
Al Golden.
But
Hey, speaking of
the running back.
Speaking of college football, we're gonna have a tailgating episode on Saturday mornings. We're gonna take our shot at this. We'll have our first one 10 a.m. Saturday morning. Yes, I'll be drinking beer because I should have been drinking beer about 6 in the morning. Tailgating for App State's first home game. We play Charlotte. I will tell you guys, I love Appalachian State football. But Charlotte, it's UNC Charlotte is what it is. That school is up and coming. They've got a tremendous recruiting base down there in Charlotte. It'll be a good episode. Jeff Needs Help is going to join me Saturday morning, 10 a.m. We're going to talk college football. We're going to have Jeff Needs Help, top 10 college football teams, and we're going to talk top probably 3, maybe 5 tailgating beers.
Yeah, send us your tailgating beers.
Yeah, so shout us out, tag us, let us know what your tailgating beer is, because we'll be talking about those as well. We'll obviously be talking about college football.
This is mine.
That's
a crushable one. Hoppy.
I have about like 50 spotted cows, so.
Hoppy, tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing with Geeks. I'm pretty stoked about that. I haven't listened to them all yet, but I'm definitely working up to there, and I'm all about this boys concept and this boys series that you guys are on. Tell us a little bit about the Hops Geek news that you guys are doing.
So last night we premiered, I think it was our 7th episode already, and Lucky actually guest starred with us. And every episode we try to figure out a way to make our beer geek themed. So of course you start out with what beer we're drinking. And then we talk about what we've been reading or watching that week. That anything as far as geek, I consider anything you'd see at Comic-Con or MegaCon. So it can be, Disney. It can be the boys. It can be, even when we both read The Brewing Cloud from Kenny.
We haven't reviewed that yet, though.
But we did mention it. But yeah, we do need to review that. So anything beer in the geek realm, we'll discuss. And then we do a little breaking news where we each just discuss, some of the geek topics that are coming up. Like, Mash discussed The Mandalorian coming out in November.
October 30th.
There you go. Well, you should have made them go and watch the episode.
Or is it October? I can't remember.
You'll have to watch the episode to confirm.
Or listen on Spotify or whatever.
Right. But yeah, just other breaking news as far as, when this Disney Plus show is finally coming out, or if this movie's coming out, or apparently Robert Pattinson is not shooting Batman right now. Find out why on our newly released episode from yesterday. And then we have a main topic, and our main topic this past week was the first 3 episodes of The Boys, which were amazing. And next week we'll probably discuss a little bit of that, as well as our most underrated superheroes.
Oh.
I think Batman Day is coming up soon too. So if you're a Batman fan, we might be talking a little Batman soon.
Underrated episodes. I did hear you guys' favorite superhero episodes, so it'll be interesting to hear what your most underrated superhero episode is about. I will tell you, I'm a big fan of comic books. I love the geek out movies as well, with the Marvel and the DC and now the Boys series and the Preacher series and all of that stuff. I absolutely love it. And I would love to be a part of what they're doing, but my memory does not allow me to engage in conversations like that, because I cannot remember the continuity of storylines and universes and the worlds and everything else that these guys can remember. I wish I could, because I would I probably wouldn't be doing a beer podcast or vodcast or whatever. It would be completely comic nerd related, because I love it. And just beyond the storyline, guys, my fascination with all of the comic books is the creative artist. I mean, they are literally depending on how regular the comic book is released, but those artists are illustrating, coloring a comic book like every other month or every month. Some of them.
There's a lot that goes.
There's a lot that goes into it. So just the creative aspect of comic books alone is amazing to me. And I definitely don't think in today's world, obviously several years ago, comic books were appreciated like they should be. But in today's world, people still, I just think, overlook the aspect of that drawing took place with somebody's hands. It's not computer-aided, it's not computer-generated. Yeah, it's not CGI. It's still an illustrator. Many of them have a colorist, that are coloring it, and then there's, the writers, and it is a team of people that are involved in it, and that was my start with it, is going to meet those illustrators and finding, meeting the guy that draws Batman. I mean, that to me is just mind-boggling, and that was really my start. So I wish I could join those folks and be a part of those conversations. I'm still working my way through season 1 so I can watch season 2. But if you're into it, or even, contemplated even anything about it, join these guys on Hops Geek News. Definitely a great product.
Yeah, and
it's funny.
I was just going to say, there was one night we recorded pretty late, and we were both like brain fart after brain fart. So we learned
we couldn't remember a name to save our life that night.
So when Jay's saying, I don't know how you all remember all of it, sometimes we don't.
We don't, yeah. And it's funny because I can do like simple math, but I suck when it comes to like real life applicable things. But if you ask me like anything to do with movies, comics, who played what, who drew what, I can remember like that. And that's my superpower, is just knowing the most random of dumb facts that might not ever get you anywhere, but they make a pretty good show. And if you ever go to Comic-Con, that's my favorite part of Comic-Con, is just meeting the artists who really pour their life into this. Like, I can go meet any actor, sure, but the artists who actually bring these stories to life for anybody, like a kid, my 4-year-old's really getting into comics. That's where I really love. So yeah, check us out in a long-winded but short-winded way. Just check us out.
For sure. Matt.
YouTube and the podcast places.
Yeah.
Anywhere besides Apple. We'll be on Apple in about 3 episodes.
Yep. We'll be there as well. Matt says a huge reason, the aluminum shortage too. Yeah, you're correct there, Matt. This packaged beer sales is a big reason. I will tell you, the aluminum supply was stressed to begin with because all the up-and-coming breweries are canning now. But to add on top of it, the increase in packaged beer is definitely a part of it. Matt also says was bummed they only had 3 episodes released. Waiting is the hardest part. I agree, but I'll be honest with you.
I don't hate it.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but I just wish they would do an episode a week like we're used to in TV. I don't know what shifted these companies, because you think about it, most of these companies operate on a per month subscription basis.
Instant gratification.
Yeah, but if you release all your content on the first day, then you can literally binge it in a week and cancel your subscription.
Very true.
That's what I tend to do depending on what it is. But do you see some people were actually rating the Boys TV show like 1 star because they were mad they didn't release the whole thing, which is incredibly stupid. Because if Amazon thinks people aren't going to like it, they're going to be less inclined to do another season. So it makes no sense at all.
Well, I will tell you, Amazon is smart enough to realize that the ratings don't mean shit how long they're in front of it means
View the
everything.
message boards. There you go. That's what you need to do. View the comments, the message boards. Don't look at your Rotten Tomatoes because you can't trust places like that anymore, especially as far as ratings go. You have just so many people that are mad because the director they chose, and it's just, come on, man. Let's enjoy what we have.
Kind of all goes back to Untapped. Somebody rates a stout a 1 star and makes a comment, I don't like stouts.
Right.
It's like, well, no shit.
Well, why are you drinking a stout right now if you know you don't like the stout?
Yeah, I just, screen time, I mean, we can see it. We'll see it when we're done here. You guys can see it on the Facebook, how much time people watch. That's what matters to these companies. I mean, they know all of that. All of the data that we can see means more to them than anything. And if people are watching, they're engaged enough to keep watching. Yeah. With that said, man, it's about time to close out another episode and hit up this Zoom after hours for our Patreon members. Be a great episode, another great episode. Be a great episode on Saturday, another great episode on next Thursday. Let's check in with Mash. Mash, do we have anything lined up for next Thursday?
We do. So one of our listeners, he's been in and out, Steve, he is in the process of opening up a brewery called Wackadoo Brewing. And I just follow them on Facebook, and so they just brewed a blueberry maple beer, and that's enough to get you on the show. So we're going to have him come on. He's going to discuss a little about Wackadoo Brewing, what they're doing. They're in Colorado, which is a hidden gem as far as craft beers go. If you are in the Denver area, there's so many good craft beers and breweries popping up all around there, as well as there's a lot of fires and things right now. So pay a lot of attention to that area. But yeah, he's going to be coming on. Week after that was supposed to be Crystal Coast Brewing. Haven't fully heard back from them yet. They are another North Carolina brewing. So more to come on them. But other than that, we're rolling into October. Adroit Theory Brewing. They're going to be our first guest in October. And then we have Ivanhoe, October 10th.
October 8th.
October 8th. I'm sorry. I always get the Thursdays, dates.
Today's the 10th. That's probably why.
I don't know what's going on. But I do know that my 30th birthday is October 15th. And I do believe as of now, Western Collective, who they have a lot of great things up and coming there out of Boise. Another Boise, I know. Definitive wouldn't hit me back. That would have been my sole idea for that. But my other go-to was Western Collective, who does a lot of great things. So they'll be joining us on that day. And after that, we're open to getting some guests on. So Jay, work your magic. Let's get some more of those North Carolina. Let's get some more Florida. Let's get some Wisconsin breweries on. So I really, really want to see some what's coming on out of there. And
yeah, for sure.
Wisconsin hears them now. So yeah. I
can definitely get you guys some beer from the coast. I'll get you guys some of that out in that box this week. So if they do come on, we'll be able to have some and talk about it. But they do. The lager that I had from those guys is pretty solid, man. And I'm a lager fan this time of the season, so I think they'll be good. I
got one to head out to you, actually. A good Oktoberfest I just had that I'm sending to Hoppy in the box that I should have sent her 3 weeks ago. It's from Edge Brewing, so you're going to get a really good lager coming your way soon, Jay.
Yeah, and those guys make some great beer as well, man.
Fortunately, I have a lot of beer to hold me over till your beer gets here. I'll survive somehow.
Let's go check in with Hoppy. Hoppy wins the Backdrop of the Episode award, as always. Hoppy, what do we have coming up on Geeks News? Tell us about what we have to look forward with Geeks News and kind of where people can find you and that sort of thing.
Like we said before, our next episode, we're going to talk a little bit about the recent The Boys episode, and then we're going to be talking underrated superheroes. And we've started to line up some different topics for different weeks. Like Mash had said, Batman Day is coming soon, so we're going to have a Batman episode. We have a whole bunch of things. Like we talked about doing a Nightmare Before Christmas episode, around Christmas time doing a Doctor Who Christmas special episode. So we have all these, different ideas. And, of course, as things come up, we also, we'll change things a bit. Actually, the DC Fandom, I think, is this Saturday for TV.
It is September 12th, the TV episode of DC Fandom, which is another episode we did about movies, but there's a TV special coming up September 12th.
So we might have some of that in our next episode. We're just trying to keep up to date on all the geek news. There's a lot out there. Yeah. And we really, we just drink some good beer while we discuss all the Hops geek news.
Yeah.
And you can find us on Instagram. at Hops Geek News, and then our podcasts and our YouTube is all just under Hops News.
Awesome. So have you guys checked out Preacher yet? I know Mash has probably watched that series.
I haven't read all the comics, but the show was phenomenal. That's a Seth Rogen and I can't remember his name. Directed and produced the show on AMC.
Yeah,
really good show. Highly recommend.
And Seth Rogen's involved in The Boys too.
Oh yeah.
Yep. I've got a request for you guys to do that maybe after The Boys to kind of dive.
I gotta watch it first. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
So.
Hey, if anybody has requests, let us know. Seriously, we will get what you want on there, and so we'll talk a little Preacher for you, Jay.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. That's what started the Boys for me, right? I read that, I watched it when it came out. I read it obviously a few years before it came out on what it is now, the current AMC. I watched the older Preacher. There's a couple of different Preachers, I believe. There's an old movie, and then there's a new AMC. So I watched the original and watched the AMC. And that kind of led into The Boys when I met the illustrators and the writers down at Heroes Con in Charlotte several years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, probably it was, down there in Charlotte. And that's kind of what got me started in The Boys. And then finding those guys down there doing The Boys, The Boys is pretty raunchy if you're not,
Very much so. The comic more so than the TV show.
Yeah, it is very much an adult, not like the Japanese anime that you might see, not anything crazy like that, but it is definitely very raunchy for some of the U.S. comics that we're used to and that sort of thing. Very much adult themed, not too over the top, but definitely worth taking a look at. But yeah, man, I'd love to hear your guys' take on Preacher. If you can add that one to your schedule after The Boys sometime, I would love to listen to what you guys think about that.
I gotta watch it first, but I will pencil it in.
I haven't watched the last season. There was a final season. I didn't watch that, but I'll definitely get it penciled in. I thought it was a really good show, so hell yeah.
And I have to give Brad a shout out. I'm closing out the night with Hot Dog is Not a Sandwich, although it is. It really is. I mean,
God, I love hot dogs.
Yeah, you and me both, man. Nathan's? Are you a Nathan's hot dog guy?
Yeah, oh my God, yeah. There's nothing like I love to tailgate, which I'll probably join the tailgating for my son's 4-year-old soccer game. I'll be tailgating from that, but I tailgating and just a good hot dog, Nathan's, just oh man, oh yeah.
So this is a great beer, Brad. Appreciate you sending this one. I do owe you a box here in the next coming days, and I need to get shipped your way. But it's a delicious beer. Tailgating. Speaking of tailgating, I love tailgating so much. We tailgated at my daughter's first couple of horse shows at the local barn. Man, we had it we had it going on. So I'm definitely I'm kind of bittersweet going into this weekend in that I won't actually be tailgating. We'll be behind this mic again and drinking some good beer and talking about it. But I'm hopeful. I'm really, really hopeful that our governor gets his shit together and allows us to do some tailgating before the end of the year. So,
things change every day. And looking at the Chiefs-Texans games, there's fans at the Chiefs game. So, who knows? We could be somewhere in about a month now, October, spooky season. We'll get spooky at some football games.
Yep. And Brad agrees with me. Hot dog is 100% a sandwich. Thanks, Brad. I knew I wasn't the only one thinking that. So, all right, guys. Hops News. You can find Hops News at Hops News anywhere. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We'll shout out this bomber jacket one more time. We'll get that out there to you guys. Appreciate all the supporters. If you're interested in being a part of our family that actually keeps this ball rolling and keeps us growing, look for us on Patreon, patreon.com. Search Hops News and you'll find us there. We'd definitely love to be a part of it, have you a part of the family. And I will tell you, the beer exchange is still going on. I think Lucky skipped us.
More than ever.
Yeah, Lucky skipped us so he could get out beers to our family members. So
yeah.
That's saying something. And Lucky's not with us tonight. I kind of miss him. I miss you, Lucky. Hey, guys, appreciate you joining us. Thanks again for everything you do. We'll see you on Zoom for those family members we have out there. Cheers.
Cheers.
Another good one.
Raleigh Brewing. That was a good. I liked her. She was. God bless. Where did they all come from?
Oh, the flies! I saw you shake